Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
I'm with Ila Patnaik, one of India's top economists and more importantly the go-to person at ThePrint, where Ila writes a must-read column called Ilanomics. So Ila, I'm going to talk to you about some of these ideas and debates, but also connect some of the issues that are ongoing today. For example, the elections have been announced. Both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the opposition are now sort of girding their loins, as it were, and are getting out in the battlefield. But explain to me, what is the issue with jobs? Is it that there are no jobs in the country? Has unemployment risen, fallen? We keep hearing that there is this big crisis around jobs. What's your take?
See, I think what's really happening is that the growth in jobs is not keeping pace with the growth in the workforce. Young people who are entering the workforce, and a large number of them are, because that's the demographics that our economy has, our country has at the moment. And they're not getting enough jobs because job growth has been inadequate.
Okay.
So the story, if I may go back,
yes, absolutely.
It's really that India is a largely informal economy. I mean, yes, there is a formal sector, but that's very capital intensive.
Okay.
So almost 85–90% of jobs have been traditionally in the informal sector.
So is it 85 or is it 90? Because I'm sure that makes a big difference.
You know, data about jobs is not good, and government data about jobs is very difficult to get. So what you get is different sources of data saying different things. So if you look at households, that is the CMI data. They do a survey
CMI
of...
is the Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy, which is a non-profit organization which measures data both on jobs, unemployment, and various other things. Okay.
So they do that doing a household survey. So they go and ask people, did you get a job?
Yes.
So that's looking at it from the household side. The other data which the government often cites is the Provident Fund data, where new people who enroll for Provident Fund are the ones who are shown as getting new jobs. So the data, let me just not go too much.
That's a mug's game basically, so we won't go there into the sources of the data. Fine. So between 85 and 90% is in the informal sector.
And the informal sector means all of agriculture.
Yes.
The construction, bulk of construction, services, retail services, small stores, a lot of manufacturing, okay, so and so on.
Yes.
So, you know, a lot of the jobs in the economy have traditionally been in the informal sector. Now, my story and the story of the slowdown goes back to the global financial crisis, which is when...
Which is 2008.
Which is 2008.
So that's more than 10 years ago.
Yes. So what we see is that after 2008, when the rest of the world starts going into a slowdown right away, in India, we start going into a slowdown of the economy. Not, coming from jobs.
Of course.
About 11–12. We managed for 2–3 years to do a fiscal expansion and a monetary expansion and to keep the economy up for till about 2011–12. But after that, you see that investment slows down. The economy, various indicators of the economy. You know, I won't talk about the GDP data because it's really, it's that new series and it's very problematic.
That's also controversial.
Yeah. But if you look at a number of other indicators, you find that the economy starts slowing down. Exports start slowing down, for example. And after 11–12, the biggest thing that slowed down was investment. Okay.
So we're still in UPA 2 if this is 2011–12. So in UPA 2 you're saying that the economy is beginning to slow down.
Correct.
So when Mr. Modi takes charge of India in 2014, the economy is already becoming slow.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there were high expectations that, you know, because UPA had its problems, especially in the last couple of years, projects,
the scandals around it.
Yeah, and projects had got stalled and new investments were not happening. And of course, there was the impact of the global financial crisis. So it was felt that there would be a turnaround.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we don't see that turnaround in investment happening. It's not happened yet. Of course, there could be a number of reasons. I don't know if whether you want to go into those.
No, so the turnaround in investment has not happened in the last 5 years of the Modi government.
Since 11-12.
Up to 2019.
Up to now, the turnaround in investment has not happened.
All right.
Okay, so that is the story of investment, which it was hoped would turn around due to the policy reforms that were expected. Now, the rest of the economy not only usually grows with the boom in the formal sector, but also this time, so it didn't grow because that turnaround didn't happen in the formal sector, but then there were disruptions. So demonetization, GST were both bigger disruptions for the informal sector than for the formal sector.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you have a lot of if bulk of the people are working for small firms all over, and they're not able to now even run and they're certainly not expanding. There is a transformation happening, which in the long run
is good for India.
Is good for India because you're going to move into a higher productive formal economy.
But tell me, how long does it take? Because the demonetization was announced in November 2016. We are now 2 years plus after that. So how long is this going to take?
My sense is
to settle down.
My sense is if it had just been demonetization, then maybe a couple of quarters, or 3 quarters, or 4 quarters, or maybe a year or so. But because it was followed by GST,
the implementation of the GST.
Yeah, the goods and services tax has a critical good, which in this situation is a negative perhaps, and that critical positive thing is that it pulls in everyone into the formal sector. Okay, now you think about a small furniture maker,
a
usual local furniture maker. He had profit margins of about 10% or so earlier. Now he's supposed to pay tax because he gets pulled into the formal sector. He's supposed to pay tax of 12%.
Right, so he's not going to be able to survive.
He's not going to be able to survive.
So Ela, you're saying investment hasn't happened, demonetization has taken a toll, and the implementation of the GST has been rough. So these are the 3 big factors.
Another.
Which is?
Credit. So in the run-up to the global financial crisis and a couple of years after that, what we saw was a big boom of investment in infrastructure projects. And they were all financed by banks. And then, you know, you've seen banks get into trouble, all those projects got into trouble, bank loans became NPAs. And when all that trouble happened, then credit to the rest of the economy also got squeezed. So that's another very big contributing factor.
So then these 4 factors, as the Modi government goes into the polls and he wants to win back power, so you're saying that this is going to be tough for him because all these 4 reasons are going to impact on the jobs market.
Jyoti, I'm saying that the impact on the jobs. Now, the extent to which jobs translate into votes or no jobs translate, that's a separate question.
But we're asking you, I'm asking you that these 4 factors are going to have an impact on the jobs.
On jobs, absolutely. They're already impacting jobs. That's, I think, a large part of the explanation for the slowdown in job growth.
But having said that, several ministers in the Modi government and the Prime Minister himself has been stressing that actually a slow turnaround is taking place, that there are green shoots, fragile, they may be fragile, but that it is happening.
Jyoti, I'm very embarrassed to admit that I must have written about 10 times about these green shoots.
We are reading them slowly we're reading them.
So we are all very, over the last 10 years, we've all been very optimistic that the economy would turn around, that, you know, after the global financial crisis, we've always been looking for green shoots. But on investment, you know, on public investment, there has been some improvement, but we're not really seeing a turnaround in private corporate investment till now.
So you're sounding quite dire, if I may say so, Ela.
I've been saying the same thing for a while, that unless you have a turnaround in private corporate investment, for which you need a whole range of policies, you are risk of not seeing a turnaround in investment, which means not seeing a turnaround in jobs as well.
So the jobs market today is would you say, pretty bad, therefore? And it's not going to get better, at least for some time.
So it's not going to get better for some time, because you've got to see that upswing and the turnaround happen.
Right, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. That sounds pretty grim from what Ela Patnaik has just told us. But keep reading her column, Elanomics, on ThePrint, and continue to watch our YouTube channel. It's live and buzzing. This is Jyoti Malhotra.